Something in my eyeball. What's going on, you guys? It's Keenan Briggs, sports consultant and mentor. Today's conversation is about creating your own your environment, right? And creating your environment is really based on like creating a space, connections, just a world where everything is always in favor of where you're going. But also, a lot of us think it's always unicorns and flowers and you know rainbows when the reality is it is that, right? But there has to be the opposite to make sure you're still getting to where you got to get to. And I'll explain that a little bit more in detail a little bit later. So, creating your own environment is, let's just say, because you're watching this, I'm assuming you want so much more for yourself athletically. And I'm assuming you want to compete at your highest level. And let's say winning a state championship is that. You want to create your own environment. And in high school, when I was competing, I wanted to be the best possible. I wanted to be ranked in the state. I wanted all these things. However, my environment wasn't conducive of me getting there, right? Because our biggest goal as a team in high school was to win league. Many kids weren't going to go to college for sports, so the biggest goal for them was if you win league, or make league, you're in a good spot, right? Then from there, going to state wasn't even a thing because it was more like you were just born that way, was the mentality. Okay. Even our coaches put so much emphasis on winning league that they would peak us for league. So even if you're a state level athlete, then you're not really ready to compete at that next level. Excuse me. Because I'm tapering off for this league championship when I technically have 5 more weeks of season left, right? So the environment wasn't there. On top of that, I was the best athlete on the team. So I didn't have anyone to push me. On top of that, because I was the best athlete on the team, everyone looked to me to help them improve. So now I'm giving versus receiving the things that I need. So technically, the athlete who was the second and third best was the one who received the most support and the most push because I was supporting that person. The coaches were helping them to get a little bit better, right? And it was just not balanced in this situation, right? I also, because I was in a school that not many kids went to college, I didn't have the counselors that knew the secrets and the nuances to help get you to the next level. So I missed out on a lot of these opportunities and I got them later on, but I didn't have them in high school. And I'm thinking if I would have had the mentality I had in college, in high school, what could have been, right? And so, what I say to you, the listener, is create your own reality, create your own environment, right? If you declared, like, you know what, I want to go to state, great. Look around your high school. How many athletes have been to state for your program? If it's 10, 20, 30, whatever it is, interview every single one, past, present, and future, right? Get to know how they think, get to know what they're about. If the school has never had a state qualifier, that's great. You get to be the first one. Then reach outside of the school and figure out who can I speak with? How can I communicate with the state champion? Like just get to know is what their mindset is, right? So that's the first thing. The next thing is if you're trying to improve to get better, you want to be held accountable, right? So for me in college, we had um, 5 jumpers that were all top five in our region. We had 3 of us that were top five in the US, and 3 of us were in the final at nationals for triple jump. Very, very competitive, right? So I had that competition every single day at practice. If you don't have that competition, then create the competition. If you're a girl, easy. Jump with the guys, compare yourself to the guys' standards and the guys' marks, right? Start picking off these guys. If you're jumping 38 and the freshman boy is jumping 40 feet, well, then why can't you beat that boy? Start doing that, right? If you're a boy and you're the best jumper and there's no one else around, well, then create the situation by looking at, okay, what are the state's top marks? How far are they jumping per phase? And what are their marks that they have? And start jumping against those things. If you notice that Arcadia had some very good marks and you wanted to compete at Arcadia, well, then start practicing jumping against those marks. Like just play games in order to get you to the next level. Okay. The other part of your environment is going to be nutrition. right? Are you eating the correct foods? Look at your friends. Are they all in a very similar shape, or are they in the shape that you want to be in, right? This goes for everything. You want to hang with the people that do what you do and are good at it, right? They say this phrase about, you are a reflection of your friends you hang out with, the top five friends. I truly believe this, right? But I also understand that you actually want to be in a place where your friends are better than you as well. You want friends that are better than you, but you also offer them value, right? They'll keep you around because you offer them value, but you also have an aspiration to do whatever they're doing. And this trade of resources is huge. So make sure that you're not just piggybacking and just hanging around with these people. You're actually offering them value so that they can give you value in return. Okay. Um, what else? Oh yeah, so the negative side of this thing, right? Is let's say you put together this great environment. You have these five friends that are all doing really well, right? And you're like, okay, since I'm with these five friends, what they're saying is I should be at the next level and really accelerate my learning and my ability. Well, what it's also going to do is it's going to show you and highlight your flaws and weaknesses, right? So let's say you're hanging out with people who were like homecoming queen and king, and they're just like really popular, and you're an introvert. It's going to be very intimidating because they're going to be out loud, very just out there, right? And you're like, well, I'm not used to that. And they seem really like they have jokes that I can't, like they talk about me with their jokes, they're playing around, but I can't really fire back because I don't know what to say. And it's going to highlight that, right? So now what's happening is you're now aware of whatever's holding you back from where you need to get to. Does that make sense? So because their light is shining brighter, it's going to cast a bigger shadow behind you, right? And that shadow is what you're seeing right now. Is you're like, okay, I see that they're shining bright, and the shadow I have are things that I got to work on. Well, don't shy away from the things that you're realizing aren't strengths for you, right? So what I realized is, okay, when I said I want to get better as an athlete, I then said, okay, I got to compete against these top athletes. So then I realized that when I'm competing at junior college and I was the state's top athlete, and then some kid comes down and beats me at my home track meet, and I'm like, I'm so mad, right? And I'm thinking, what is it that they're doing differently? How are they really improving? Fast forward, that guy ends up going to Baylor and running like 13 seconds, 13.5 or whatever in the hurdles. And I was like, man, I never lived up to that. I never saw that, right? But I had this level of like jealousy in a sense of, man, like, I don't understand why I didn't run fast like that. But also at that time, I never tried to communicate with him or understand his way of thinking or what he took. Like, if I would have saw that he ran a 13.5, 13.6, I could have reached out to him and said, hey, great job with what you've been doing. You really dropped your time in the last couple of years. Like, what is it that you've done? Then I could have taken that information, right? But what I did was I saw my flaws. I'm like, oh, I'm not fast enough. And then I just sulked. Anyway, I wallowed in this emotion of me not being fast enough. And then I ended up moving over to triple jump, right? And then I made this story that, oh, I did triple jump because it's easier to like compete at a high level. But I just could have continued with the performance of hurdles as well, but I just stopped there, right? And so don't let you expanding your environment hold you back or discourage you. You're supposed to be at this level where you do really well, you're one of the best at what you do, and now you find a new group, and this new group is on a higher level. Well, this higher level means that you're at the bottom again, and you get to climb up that new mountain, so to speak, and be the best you can in that situation. Then once you do that, you do it all over again. It's this continuous recycle situation where you're at the top, you're on the bottom, and you keep working through that process. And as you do that, you're going to continuously get better, and you're going to improve up this scale of life, and become a better person, become a better athlete, become a better um, role model, all those things. So continue to create your environment. Whatever you feel you need more of, go find those things and then learn and study about those things. If you want to learn how to eat better, get into a nutrition class, right? Take a master class, go to an after school program and learn how to make foods, right? There are so many things you can do to help expand your knowledge, your potential. And so if you have any questions about this, let me know and I can kind of point you in some good directions. But keep your environment growing, challenge yourself, hold yourself accountable, create your own challenges for yourself. Like if I don't do this, I'm going to then give 5 hours community service to this one organization. Create something. Create it at risk. All right. Okay.